I think, first of all, the book has always brought me to tears whenever I've read it to my children. And I understand that there's a lot of uh, controversy about the original meaning of the book. But for me, I think it points to the selfishness of human beings on this planet and how we are so selfish that we disregard the needs of nature and other beings around us. I guess that if we are lucky that before we die, um, we might learn to be kinder and gentler to each other. And I guess that perhaps we might pay attention to books like this and enlightened beings and spiritual texts and learn these lessons before our death, before the end of the world. I do believe that artists are vessels and can channel um, truth. Um, I also think that art can be revolutionary. Um, if you look at IYY, if you look at there's a documentary out right now called The Art of Killing. Very, very powerful piece of work that I believe can be revolutionary, but also in less provocative ways. I think that um, that observers can be moved by art, and sometimes even to the degree that maybe we might have less judgment for somebody else after seeing something, being moved emotionally. We might have less judgment about the color of someone's skin or um, what religion they are or what kind of shoes they wear. I have, um, but I've also spent time with people who have experienced more dramatic versions of it than I have. And what I've witnessed is that violence, causes people to be afraid. If they continue to live after the act of violence, it closes people up, and they become defended in their lives. And when we're defended, we don't react to things in the same way that we do when we're open and trusting. I think when there's violence in households or violence, people stop trusting. And also, it can perpetuate violence. Violence is cyclical, and people who have experienced violence sometimes find it hard to not behave um, violently towards others. When I think of peace, I think of open hands. I think of opposing sides standing facing each other, agreeing to disagree, um, finding a way to be as rigorously honest as possible, compassionate, and trying to attain um, some form of low conflict, low blame resolution, I guess. I try to meditate to empty my mind of attachment to things that appear to be real, that might not be, that might actually be quite meaningless. Yeah, meditation. Um, I'm not sure so much about what it would mean to me, but I think it would be. It's so hard to even fathom that if that were actually to happen, I think the entire world might burst into tears. I mean, even if a small percentage of the world were to achieve that goal on a single day, it would be so transformative on so many levels. $365 a year of hate and violence and resentment has no real value either. And so if 24 hours of that were spent in an attempt at the opposite, um, I can't imagine that it wouldn't have some significant, almost universal impact. And from what we're learning, have been for some time, but scientists are, starting to be able to monitor um, that shift. When there is a mass unity of a single mind, that it does have an energetic impact. So if that's the case, then I don't see much argument for it. I've learned over the years that the first person to make peace with is oneself. And I've also learned that there are still areas in my life where I need to make peace with myself. So on that particular, I don't have any conflicts with anybody in my life. But as far as I know, but I think it's always a good time and a good place to start is with oneself.